Hello, my name is Dale Wilhite. I'm right now in Rock Springs, Wyoming. If you want to find anything about me, go to MySpace, Facebook, or Twitter, where I have accounts. What I'm going to do here is give you the key verse, which will answer the question uh, as to why the Pharisees wanted Jesus put to death. You know, we've seen the movies, we've read the four Gospels, and, we listen to the preachers, and read the books about the life of Jesus and what the Pharisees did. And it's sometimes hard to figure out exactly what was it what was it that he did that just really ticked them off, that they wanted him, hated him so much that they wanted him dead. They did a lot of, told a lot of lies about him, claiming that he was of the devil and stuff like that, with no proof, of course. But what was it? What was that one thing that just really ticked them off that Jesus did? The miracles? Maybe a little bit of it. But it was overall who Jesus was altogether. It wasn't just of who he claimed to be. But it's something else here. There's this, and I'll give it to you, right? I'll read you the verse. It's two little verses in Mark 15, 9 and 10. And I use the KJV only. Pilate answered them, saying, Will ye that I release unto you the King of the Jews? This is where Pilate was trying to reason with the Pharisees, about Jesus, that he found no fault in him or anything like that. The 10th verse says, speaking of Pilate, for he knew that the chief priest had delivered him for envy. Mark 15, 9 and 10. St. Mark 15, 9 and 10. That's it, envy. They were envious of Jesus. That right there is the key verse. Out of all the four Gospels, that's the main reason they wanted him put to death. One of their own, willing to give one of their own to Pilate, to the Romans who had murdered tens of thousands of Jews and took their land over, and yet just out of envy, they wanted this guy gone. They didn't really even make much of an effort to find out if he was the Son of God, because they were apparently, I guess they assumed that when Jesus came, he's going to come, like it said in the book of Revelations, which of course wasn't written then. Of course, neither were the four Gospels. On a big white horse, and he's just going to wipe the Romans out and set up heaven on earth, I guess. I guess that's what Judas and Barabbas apparently wanted. Maybe that's what they thought. They just couldn't believe that Jesus would come from, a poor man, a carpenter's son. It just didn't make any sense to them. But they never made any effort to find out. They never really made the effort. They just were so envious because they were the big kids on the block, and here comes another one. Here comes someone else that upstaged them. So that's basically what it comes down to. It was just pure envy. They were just envious of them. And that's the key verse, or verses, they're still right there. But the one verse there where it says for Pilate, for he knew that the chief priest had delivered him for envy. They were envious of Jesus. They wanted him dead for that. And that's basically what it all boils down to through the four Gospels. They just, except for a couple of Pharisees, they just didn't really make much of an effort. They could care less. But I just wanted to pass that on because I know, most of my life as a kid, I tried to understand what were the Pharisees trying to do here. And then eventually I came across that verse there. And that verse there pretty much summed it up and explained everything. And once you understand that verse there and read that and comprehend it, which is pretty easy, then everything else falls into play there. Everything begins to make sense. I wanted to add on something else here that might be of interest to you. They talk about that Jesus rose at sunrise. Well, I give you a challenge here. Go look at all four Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And Matthew, Mark, Luke, and Luke, you'll say that when they went to the tomb, Mary, that it was right at daybreak. The sun was just coming up. In John, St. John, it said it's yet dark. But notice what they didn't say there. It didn't say in any of those four Gospels that Jesus rose at sunrise. All it says is that his body was gone at sunrise. It didn't say he rose right at the crackling of daylight. Only that when they got there at daylight, right when daylight was about to begin, he was gone. That's all it says. Sometimes people read things that are not there and try to make things say that they're not really meant to say. It just isn't there. That doesn't mean people who celebrate, Easter sunrise are doing anything wrong. They're not. I'm just simply stating that in those four Gospels, it never says that Jesus rose at sunrise. It just says that his body was missing at sunrise when they went to the tomb. The rock boulder had been, big rock you call it, had been rolled back, and he was gone. That's all it says. Read it, and you'll see for yourself. Anyway, thank you for your time, and I just want to give this about that verse because I remember as a kid having a hard time trying to understand what were the Pharisees trying to do. What was it that ticked them off so much? What did Jesus do that really ticked them off? And that was it. They were just envious of him. That's all. And I think we all can relate to that. But that's the way it went. But remember this: Jesus didn't die. Christianity wouldn't be here. So it's kind of like the old question is, did God know ahead of time that Judas was going to betray him? And then of course the answer is yeah. Well, then if he knew that, and if somebody had to betray him for things to fall into place to be the way they turned out, something here doesn't make any sense. Well, when you die and you meet God, maybe he can explain that to you, because I can't. And I don't think anybody else can either. Thank you for your time. Bye.